get through. But it's the axis of mage and rogue in the opponent's lineup, which I really think makes bringing Soul Demon Hunter make a lot of sense. So I think xBlyzes has one very well positioned deck here in that, at least. I think for the same reason, since xBlyzes has never brought rogue, Casie would have put no thought into bringing Demon Hunter this week whatsoever, because I know he's someone that really pays attention to that. He did call it out specifically about Psycho when I was talking to him when that was his matchup a couple of weeks ago. He said that Psycho has never brought Rogue, so that was one deck that I just straight up ruled out. There's no reason to bring it. So I imagine with that same stat being applied to xBlyzes, that it's something that Casie wasn't considering this week either.
Okay, well, once again, like this is some kind of theme, we are going to kick this series off with Demon Hunter versus Druid. So definitely the tough one for xBlyzes, even though he has a bit of an easy go of it, of the Malygos Druid. But Sal's already enjoying the pace of play.
Oh, I'm so happy. The hero power hit face before the card was even being drawn. This is what I'm talking about. Casie tried to troll me last night and say that he was just going to rope every single turn, just so what I promised everyone at the end of yesterday was not going to come true. And I would say he's not capable of that, but he absolutely is. There's a funny story from their practice group where Bunny and Casie, obviously one of the slowest players, one of the fastest, when they practice together, Bunny gets annoyed at Casie for roping. This is apparently a true story.
What?
Yeah, no, apparently this is true. Apparently Bunny plays really fast in practice because he wants to get a bunch of data under his belt, just, you know, reps over and over and over and over. And Casey's the exact opposite. He wants to hang out and talk about everything and think things through and so on. So Bunny actually gets mad at Casie for roping, apparently.
Okay, that is just funny. I'm going to have to listen in on the next practice group and just giggle to myself quietly. Yeah. Hey, though, like lightning, and we expect nothing like, oh, if this was some other players, we'd still be in turn one, Sol. It is insane, and it's kind of jarring to adjust casting speed here. But Twilight Runner already out nice and early. Casie not having access to general ramp tools, such as Overgrowth, to really get to these high-cost cards, but is slowly piecing together some combo cards here with Omu, the Geppetto to help, of course, and the Alexstrasza has just hit the Malygos. So now, honestly, I feel like that Geppetto's kind of rubbish in his hand right now.
Yeah, I told one anecdote and missed 4 turns of Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to catch everyone up.
Yeah. Normally, you have to have, for most European Grandmasters, you have to have like 5 or 6 of those anecdotes under your belt for one game.
I've got some movie scripts on my desk waiting to just pitch. Like in some of these matches, I'm ready.
Consume magic generated. xBlyzes rips it, keeps pushing the damage. Has second Marrow Slicer now built up to be able to deal with this. Casie, 0 consideration into his turn. Instant refresh with the Omu, Lake Thresher, Animated Broom, clear the board, dominate the board. No Blade Dance currently in xBlyzes' hand to be able to respond to this with the second Marrow Slicer, but xBlyzes is a gamer, so he draws it off the top. No, never mind. All right, okay. I was trying. I was on a roll. I was on a roll, Raven. I was trying.
What's funny is I'm pretty confident I could cast the match like that. I'm just not going to because I don't think it's very good. Most importantly, though, I will just draw your eyes to the previous turn from Casie. It makes me happy to see someone play Broomstick in Malygos Druid. I think I've talked about this every single week of Grandmasters that we've seen Mally Druid. It's like, what if? Well, that's if Casey's won the board and has stuck a Thresher because he had a Broom in his deck and it's only got the one, but it's paid off. If there's just beasts left, he's going to get Twilight Runner and... Oh, sorry, of course, Gidra. Apologies. Forgot about that one.
Slowest turn of the game by far up until this point.
And xBlyzes now has to hit the point where he's going to work out, can he clear the board? If so, how? And... how does he actually win this game? He has seen Omu used now, so he knows Omu's gone, Broom's gone. That's actually a pretty big deal. So he knows there's a chance that he can actually take this game slower because some of the best tools to beat Demon Hunter are already gone. Quite like this.
Yep, dominate the board, push damage face. 5 fragments were in there at the start of the turn, which is pretty huge. That is a good draw, though.
Yeah,
Small Gidra able to be buffed. That swipe.
Yeah, I was going to say, I expect to see it as well, because why not, right? Casey's already used Omu, like I said, so he's not planning on doing some gigantic Mally combo. He just wants to push damage.
Yep, love it.
I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw a Malygos on curve if he feels safe enough, even without any combo.
I will still find you.
XBlyzes, due to this Eldraki Warblades, though, does have access to some pretty reasonable heal, even utilizing the Twin Slice now, as opposed to just going for the hero power instead. Is going to allow him to go for a Skull next turn, which is a pretty big deal, but he does get the Moonfire off the top. Huge.
Goose stuck for Casie. XBlyzes, wanted to spend minions spend cards from the left-hand side of his hand for exactly this reason. It's the big reason why he went Twin Slice over Hero Power on the previous turn, just to spend that 1 mana on unlocking the Skull. So he now has access to the Skull this turn. It's double Chaos Strike, but one of them didn't hit the discount because of the Soul Fragment.
That's still okay, though. He is healing a lot.
He is.
And, like, in a roundabout way, him drawing a Soul Fragment nullifies the Chaos Strike being free because it would heal him for 2 anyway. in like in a weird fashion.
Yeah. It's a tenuous link at best, Raven.
It's my specialty, Sottle.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to let that one lie like the, you-know-what that it is.
Genius. The Alex is going to come down here and help nullify some of this healing from XBlyzes. Malygos is going to be able to push that extra damage as well. Both players just trying to hang on here, but XBlyzes just missing a Blade Dance in this game. He's going to have to dig for it.
He is, but he does have Second Skull to do so. If he skulls, he then has 4 mana remaining. So as long as he draws a 0 mana Blade Dance, he gets up to 7. You can use the Penflinger to at least be able to deal with the Alexstrasza.
He might not even...
Soul Fragments are not it, though.
Yeah. Oh, you just get... Oh, my. Okay.
Hello? Okay, sure. They are it now. You're going to just draw all of them in a row? Sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He might actually need to Blade Dance if he can heal for enough. And suddenly, with Twin Slice, Second Slice, Hero Power, that's probably enough. He's seen, what, 1 Moonfire, 2 swipes?
No, 1 swipe is still
1?
remaining.
Okay, sorry.
It's just 1 swipe, yeah. 1 Moonfire, 1 swipe.
And he's going to effectively heal back up to full. And there's no Alexstrasza anymore.
Yeah?
XBlyzes, you madman. So there's... Oh, it's so difficult. There's like some valid reasons to think about killing the Alex because he's seen so much of the combo. He knows there's no extra damage there from the Goose at the moment. The game's like weirdly winnable in fatigue-ish if you discount Ysera. So like there are some reasons, but they just don't look good enough with the amount of cards that XBlyzes has in hand and the amount of damage he can output. Oh wow.
Right.
1 card away, Sol.
Altruis. Penfling. If we don't do this the Penfling away, we're going to have a serious talk after this game, XBlyzes.
Wait, did he just miss some damage?
I
feel like he missed some damage.
This is fine. This is fine.
Yeah. He's still gonna
It's
get
enough
in there.
damage.
Wow.
That's all that matters.
I concede.
Game 1. He's going to go to XBlyzes. Lightning fast decisions being made there, and him getting a win with the Demon Hunter, you know, kind of the opposite of what we saw in the last series, where Demon Hunter was losing to Druid. XBlyzes getting the win there is huge, and you saw some of the weaknesses of that Malygos Druid, right? There aren't as many defensive tools. There aren't as many ways you can put taunts in the way with no Iron Barks, for example. But I did like the way Casie played it, though, and said, well, in this matchup, he's being aggressive enough. I'm not going to be able to go for the Omu into Germination into Mali big combo for 30. I have to just play my cards out. So I do like his use of Omu, especially in that game.
Yeah, Casie just tried to stick a big minion, which is the best way of beating Demon Hunter, right? Like we saw, even if the Blade Dance were there, it was very, very hard to get up to the health totals that he needed to be able to take out the board. And if they don't hit that Blade Dance, it's kind of just a free roll in a lot of positions. But just because of the amount of healing that XBlyzes was able to put together, both pre-Alexstrasza and post-Alexstrasza, being able to pick up massive bursts of healing, he was able to stay out of range. But it was a great way to kick off the series. I promised everyone a roller coaster of emotions, and I think you saw there the pace that this game is likely to be played at did slow down just a little bit as the decisions got critical towards the end, but I'm sure the rest of this series is absolutely not going to disappoint.
Yeah, and although it is going to go fast in general, we are going to try and stretch it out just a little bit. So we are going to go to a break while we set up our game number 2, just to give you a moment to recover from that one. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back with some more Hearthstone Grandmasters. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to continue our series between xBlyzes and Casie. Casie taking a loss there on that Malygos Druid, even though the Broom looked like it could potentially dig him out. I think the double Guardian Animals as his backup that was empty at that point, I believe, was not really going to be good enough on that one. And xBlyzes did manage to get a win with his Demon Hunter. And I believe now, Sato, we're going to be moving on to the Highlander Priest into Malygos Druid matchup. So a bit more of a difficult one, and one that might even just slow this series down a little bit.
It may, yeah. And I guess I was a little harsh on the Mali Druid from Casie's side at the start of this, because this is one of the matchups where Mali Druid does make sense. I think even the 2-ofs build of Priest, you could argue now that Mali Druid doesn't have that good a matchup against, the way it's evolved, and they've got so tempo focused, and you know, they play so many minions in their deck and mid-rangey dragons and all of these things that Mali Druid can struggle to deal with without brooms. But certainly I think Highlander Priest is one where Mali Druid certainly has a big edge. So I think in terms of important wins in the series, which is usually worth talking about in Conquest, because not all Conquest wins are created equal. xBlyzes Demon Hunter getting a win this series, not a big deal. Casie's Mali Druid getting the Highlander Priest in queue and actually finding a way over the line relatively quickly and going with a 1-on-1 record, I think might actually end up being a more important win for Casie if it squares up the series.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. There is the I guess the elephant in the room here for this priest, in which he does run Mind Render Elucia. And before we get crazy with, oh, imagine all the nutty combos there are, like, even just removing all that, the fact that he could Mind Render on a quiet turn and just throw away a Moonfire or a Swipe, potentially, does make an impact. You don't have to do anything wild, but I think the key parts are throwing away damage, or actually the Geppetto signaling, I guess, from Casie, right? Is something to be a little bit more aware of from his side.
Geppetto signaling. Okay. That's just a funny phrase.
You know what I meant, okay?
I do. Yeah. It's something that good Mali Druid players, which Casie certainly is, will generally avoid in the matchup, though. You won't just jam Geppetto on 8 most of the time and sit there with the 2 1-mana cards in your hand. You'll play it on 9 or 10, or use an Innovate or a Lightning Bloom in order to cash out those 1-mana minions immediately.
It is an impact, though, simply just having the Mind Render in your deck makes, though, right? Like, your opponent has to consider that and play around it, unlike a lot of other matchups. So, pretty big deal already. Overgrowth being played by the Priest and not the Druid here. So, xBlyzes is going to more than be able to keep up with the mana expectations on his side.
Yeah, xBlyzes isn't going to ramp into Guardian Animals, though. He does ramp into Proto Drake or Galakron, which are reasonable, but can you really Proto Drake into this board? I'm not so sure you can. Yeah, xBlyzes just takes the 50-50. Really needs to swipe right. Does it. Very, very nice.
There are too many things going on, right?
It's been 45 seconds, Raven. This game has been going on for 45 seconds, and both players have 8 mana, and xBlyzes is on 15. Like, what happened?
I can't even get time to joke about the fact you just said Galakron swiping right. There's a joke in there, and I've not got the time to get there. So, unfortunately, we are going to continue on with this game as the wave of apathy being played now going to reduce these minions down. I am slowly turning into a play-by-play caster. You can tell by the speed of my speaking right now. And the slight robot version I went to there for a second, but Future's Pet is going to help be able to clear up this Dragon Queen Alexstrasza along with a swipe, is at least going to keep these threats on board for Casie going into xBlyzes next turn.
Yeah, clears up with the Hydra, protects his 8/8 as best as he can. xBlyzes does have the Shadow of Death to deal with it on the following turn, though. Now, Kronks is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Even just as functional healing here.
xBlyzes? I don't think you need to plague this board. What about just Kronks as an make an 8/8, play a dragon, and death, the Alexstrasza?
Sure, I'm on board with that.
Is that not just a rather large board? Clearly does want Casie to draw the broom.
Yeah. I mean, it is card draw, right? We can see it isn't because the broom is in hand, but denying card draw is very, very important in the matchup.
Look what the board could have looked like.
I know.
Look again.
I think this is the dream scenario, right, for xBlyzes, where the board is cleared, and now he just gets this full turn to develop onto this massive board with nothing on the other side. Pretty insane.
He's prioritizing heal, though, right now. He's seen Alexstrasza. He's seen some damage get chucked out. And you can tell that straight away because, yet again, a bigger board would have been Plague Proto Drake and then double 1-cost dragons, right? But he will straight away instead went for, okay, 1 maker, can this get me renew? And so on from there. Even deal 5, heal 5 from the Kronks.
That's the difference. He could have gone for board development with this Kronks, but by holding onto it here, by ripping the Plague of Death, he ends up being able to use it for that 5 healing post Alexstrasza, which is a very big deal. And now, having seen that healing, Casie is going to give up on immediate burst damage, reset to the overflow.
Right.
Try and just dig his way back through his deck for the full combo, and there is largely the full combo in his hand now.
And this is where I think xBlyzes just needs to drop everything on board and say, okay, you've drawn a lot of cards. I've got 24, which is not safe. I need to win this game very, very soon.
Breath of Dreams to burn. Breath of Dreams also the Ghidra activator. Wants to keep cycling because he is so close to that full 30 damage combo.
Yeah,
3 cards remaining in deck for Casie.
Just missing a Moonfire, right?
Yep. Last 3 cards, Bloom, Moonfire, Geppetto.
Only 10 damage going to be available on board for xBlyzes this turn. That does not equal 24.
That's huge already, because xBlyzes healing above 24 means that Casie now does need the additional Moonfire for the lethal. It's a big deal in and of itself.
In time, you too will bloom.
Right, he's just gonna go.
Is he not going to wait?
This isn't lethal, is it? Are we stupid?
24, 25 with the hero power.
Okay.
Just going to stick the board.
Yep, makes sense. The swipes are going to clear up that board and make it pretty unlikely that xBlyzes are going to be able to defend. And with no healing either, it's clear the board and heal. Although I guess the taunt is actually a pretty huge deal. It means hero power plus Moonfire isn't actually going to work if xBlyzes can deal with this board.
Right. So now Shadow of Death can clear 1.
What about...
Can't shrink the Mali, though, to even attempt to isolate it.
Is this the time
So...
to just drop Murazond and go for
Murazond?
I mean... So realistically...
As long as he gets the Mali, he has Lightning Bloom Breath, right? Afterwards. So he always gets the Mali. So I think this is just always the play.
Moonfire.
It's safe.
Oh, he got the Mali first.
As long as that Moonfire didn't shoot him in the face. Now this swipe can go anywhere.
No.
Get him! Just get him, boys! That's how you do it. Easy.
Not even bothered. It's just another day. The more I looked at it, the more it actually... There were ways that worked less, right? If the Mali comes down before the swipes, then that is perfect, because the swipes can only target enemy minions, which means you never swipe in your own face or anything like that. The Mali came down, and then the only issue then was Moonfire needed to hit anything that was not his own face. If those two things happen, yeah, he just wins, because the swipes are so powerful and they only can target enemy minions or face, obviously. So it's always a positive, and that was, I guess, the punish for Casie not trying to wait. I guess the question is, could Casie have waited instead? It's a tough one, because by him using the swipes, he cleared the board that was quite threatening on xBlyzes' side. So I think that one, we just chalk it up to xBlyzes making the right response and having the Murazond go his way a little bit, but also Casie just being almost forced into that kind of removal / damage setup turn.
Yeah, and there was also the contingency plan from xBlyzes, right? Where, say, the swipes and the Moonfires went off first before the Mali appeared, so he didn't get the board clear. He still then had Lightning Bloom into Breath of the Infinite that he can use to clear at that point as well, if he needs that extra few points to clean up the Mali. So it looked like a fairly safe setup. And yeah, from Casey's side, he'd basically played every other card that game, so all the cards left remaining in his hand were just the final Mali combo cards. So if he didn't go for it that turn, he was basically hard passing that turn. And then he still has to win the 50-50 on drawing the Moonfire the next turn, because he still has 2 cards left in his deck at that point. So I can totally understand why he ended up going for it. There's only one real punish in that position. Outside of that, it was like Shadower Death to kill one of the Omus, and then like a Cabal Acolyte Shrink to steal the Mali or something like really niche, like multi-card combo put together like that. So, you know, getting punished with the Murazond and it just happening in the perfect sequencing for xBlyzes to just end the game in spectacular fashion, like, I think you probably just have to take those.
The only thing that would have made it better is just remember as well, he had Omus with Spell Burst too, so he could have refilled his whole mana and just gone again with his hand. So maybe even like a Soul Mirror as well if it didn't work out. So pretty big deal there, honestly, for Blyze. And Blyze now, you said if Casie could get a win with the Druid, he's looking great in the series. But Blyze just almost stole a win. With that Priest, which puts him 2-0 ahead, only got Mage now to take a win with. And I believe as well, Blyze's record on Mage is actually pretty fantastic. Yeah, he's 22-16, which is 57.9% with his Tempo Mage in Grandmasters so far.
Yeah, and he certainly has looked like one of the players, at least who has the most fun playing Tempo Mage. Like, it's so synergistic with his natural play style, right? Just to throw out cards, draw Evocation, play it immediately, dump 9 cards out of his hand from the Evo,
right.
Drop a Mana Cyclone, dump 6 more cards. We're only 20 seconds into the turn at this point. He's got plenty more time left. Don't you worry about it. Like, he just seems right up his alley as a player. He has looked very much at home on it so far.
Yep, and we are going to be kicking off with the Mage Mirror. So Casie, going to play the Mirror first, see how that one goes, and hopefully continue on from there. As a reminder, we didn't... Shock horror, we didn't have much time to speak about other things, but if Casie wins this, he can go above RDU, sitting at the top of Division A. Yep. If he takes a loss, he's still in a decent position, but Blyze then starts to chase, right, as a 3-EL end on a 3-2 score of his own.
Yeah, crucially, he would not go above RDU after tiebreakers are factoring, because of course in a head-to-head, in a two-way tie, the head-to-head is the first tiebreaker that's considered. Yep. And we all remember the absolute massacre that RDU handed down to Casie, being his one defeat of the season so far.
Completely right. Been so used to talking about the 3-way ties, I forgot that 2-way is just pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Do see an early cram session there from Blyze with some spell damage, allowing him to pop up on these resources. But right now, Casie seems to be slowly gathering all the tools required here: a Mana Giant, an Apprentice, and an Evocation.
Yeah, meanwhile, Blyze has one of those slow Raz hands that's not really coming together right now. And we're off. Siles, rip it. Yep. Slab partner being played or not? I think that's the only real big decision this turn. Gives himself the opportunity to end on Cyclone still. That's not bad. Onto power insta Mana Worm? Okay, sure, I guess. What
about Casie? Get that Mana Worm down. You can start giving it attack.
Yeah. Can't really clear enough garbage to have a Cyclone turn. I guess if you get the Giant down to 0, but no, you can't really do that. You have to spend the 1 on the Incanter's Flow, just drop the Giant. Yep, makes sense.
I was looking if it's ever worth to, like, drop the Secret down and you have to use the second Ray to get the Giant. Just for the power of having a Secret in play.
Sure.
I think is pretty relevant.
Bly's going to respond in kind. His turn a little bit less powerful. 2 of these rays will have to hit the Sorcerer's Apprentice just to outright kill it now, and he can use 1 more to lock out the Giant.
Still only an Evocation away from a good time though, and it's still possible with this Mana Cyclone.
Wow, he actually drops both of them into the Cyclone as well. I was wondering whether he might preserve the Twin Spell Ray of Frost just to have a Twin Spell Ray of Frost to be able to deal with the Giant again on the next turn, but he chose to just go maximum cycle on his Cyclone turn.
Yeah, holding the Tome of Intellect for next turn as well, but also that puzzle box just sitting in his hand. It's not the most fun thing we like to talk about, but something we do have to keep our eye on if this game slows down a little bit.
Oh my God.
I could feel like, across the country Saul's frustration just hit me like a real wave of apathy.
Oh, it's not apathy. Apathy is not the word that describes my emotions towards Puzzle Box, Raven.
I was more thinking about reducing your excitement for this game all the way down to 1.
Yeah, wave of disdain.
And I just know that Blyze would win if 2 boxes were played here. You just know, don't you? But it's just that type of person. It's just gonna win.
Indeed. Casey's arms are too short to box with God.
Okay. I think I found that funnier than I should have. He's gonna be able to ping off, and of course Raz gonna clean up the at least 2 of the danger minions here. It's gonna happen, isn't it?
Yep. The good news is that normally you have to fill a bunch of time with a bunch of decisions that don't really matter until you get to the puzzle box. That's not where we are. It's only going to be about 30 seconds. It's fine.
Yeah, this is like in RTS games when you put in the cheat code so everyone starts with like unlimited resources.
Right.
You just get going.
Right. I will say, like, just focusing up again, if there is a player who has the opportunity to end this positively, I would say it is xBlyzes before it resolves down to the puzzle boxes. He is ahead of tempo right now from his perspective. Casey's Deep Freeze is going to lock a lot of that out, but it does involve just giving xBlyzes a full turn of Sorcerer's Apprentice here, which, well, no, okay, he's going to skip it. He's going to skip it.
Well, when you can answer a Deep Freeze with a Deep Freeze, you're the one who normally ends up ahead at that point, right?
That's true. And xBlyzes going to choose to tidy up here as well. Now there is currently, what, 2, 5, 7, 11, 14, 17, 18 damage showing on the other side. And it's a ping pass turn from Casie. Oh! Oh!
Oh, my.
Oh, save us! Evocation, save us!
Can he get lethal by pinging his own spell wing and we don't have to resort to anything like that?
Polymorph.
Oh yeah, it gets
spell,
right.
Yeah,
right?
polymorph,
Yeah,
spell wing, ping, spell wing, arcane missiles. He put
the spell
these cards
damage.
in his deck, Raven. How cool is this?
This is a weird game of Mage! What a way to win, and Xblyzes spotted it pretty instantly. I was perusing, but I did not really consider the implications of Polymorph, and just like that, the series is over. Xblyzes dispatches Casie 3-0, and it's just another game of Hearthstone for this man.
Sorry, was he frozen there because he just immediately disconnected from the camera? Just like, all right, job done. All right, I'm off. See ya. Just instantly LF4'd out.
Look, Xblyzes takes a fast approach to life, Sottle, not just Hearthstone. He is done. He turns up, he obliterates his opponent in 5 minutes, he values his time. He's on to the next project now, on to the next opponent to defeat. I like it.
What a series. Absolutely insane. Everything we expected it to be. What was my prediction? I said to you before we went on air, 35 minutes, I think, is what I predicted. So we can have a time check in a little bit to see exactly how long that one lasted. But with it being a 3-0 in xBlyzes' favor,